What is going on, everybody? Don't adjust your TV sets. Don't adjust your laptops. It's not Wednesday. It's not Tuesday. It's Friday. But the saga of the Masters Fitness Championships has continued. So I had to bring my boy Cory back on. And if you saw the thumbnail, got the FreeCory shirt on. Hashtag FreeCory. We're going to get that in a minute. Before we get to that, I got a dart throw to do. Should I even look?
No, I just throw it.
Just throw it?
Just throw it.
Right in the wall, dude.
Well, at least it's stuck.
FreeCory 2 times.
Thanks, Judy.
What's going on? Traint Olive, because Cory's here. We call her Traint Olive. Meredith, Judy, Jeffrey, Lito, Aaron. So glad you could all be here. Earlier this week, I mentioned that my daughter was going to Yellowstone to film bears attacking their Bearproof Cooler.
Tell me there's footage of this. Please tell me there's footage of this.
Well, I have the answer if the cooler is bearproof or not. So guesses on, is the cooler bearproof? Yes or no?
I'm gonna go with yes. I have no idea what kind of cooler it is, but I'm gonna go with yes.
Can you see the cooler?
All right. Well,
the answer is no.
A resounding no.
Yeah. So all of the footage to advertise their Bearproof Cooler was no good.
Jeez.
Because the cooler was actually not bearproof.
And like they got locks on it.
Oh, yeah. You lock it down on the outside, and the bear just went down through the top.
And the bear's like, that's fine. You can put all the locks on it you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So she does have some video footage. I don't know what I can share because it is proprietary. But yeah, it was a big old grizzly, and just popped the top, man.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna get
like a can of beans and just pop the top, man.
Dude, that is
Train Olive says looks like me going into the fridge when I'm hungry.
I understand and can confirm. Dude, look at that.
Yeah.
If you ever wondered, like, don't fight a bear. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that out there right now. Don't even try.
Yeah. But how cool is it that that's your freaking job? That's my daughter's job.
Yeah, dude. No, she's got
to watch this stuff and video it.
That's awesome. Hey, what are we doing tomorrow? Well, as it turns out,
gonna throw some of our product at a bear and see how it holds up.
We're gonna put what was in it.
I don't know. I do think they rubbed the top with some stuff.
Yeah, to get him to come check it out.
Yeah. But I did. She got home really late last night, and we haven't talked to her about the actual overall.
I would be curious, and this is my own bear testing protocol. But instead of rubbing something on it, right, lock it down like it's supposed to be, put some food in it, and then just.
And that may have been what happened. I don't know. Yeah. Again, I don't know the details. I know that they did make arrangements with Yellowstone and their
that part in and of itself.
All of that, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Just the idea that they called up and they were like, yeah, Yellowstone. Yeah, this is what we want to do. And Yellowstone was like, yep, let's make it happen. Because in every national park I've been to, which is only 3 at this point, but still, there's big old signs that say, do not bring food out here. And I love it because it says, yeah, don't feed the wildlife. But then it says, for the bear's protection, which is the best part of that entire sign. Pretty sure after looking at that, the bear is not the guy that needs the protection. Just throwing that out there. I knew that beforehand, mind you, but I just kind of cements it. You know how heavy those things, dude.
Yeah. Meredith says, I think if a bear wants in, they get in. I think we have proof.
100%. 100%. It's still ultimately made out of plastic. Like it might be heavy gauge, space age polymers as it was. They had to throw that shit around with his kids, but if the bear wants in, dude, the bear's gonna get in.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of bears, this popped up in my memory this morning. My memories.
Yeah.
And I just had to share it. It's a picture I took at Semifinals 2023, I believe. Look at that beautiful man.
Look at that dude.
He was on In the Box Office last night.
Was he?
He was.
I don't think they were ready for Dex. I really, really don't.
He was like a big brother to them, I think. And it's probably what they needed after 2 episodes of what they've been through. But I actually recognized Cait after last night because she told a story and how she met Dex, and I was there, and now I know why I know her, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the show.
Yeah. Look at that dude. That shirt almost doesn't look real. Like it looks like AI wrote Austin 316 on it. I know it is.
It was real. I was there.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm just saying, dude. Like,
yeah, just had to share that because that was just an awesome picture I got from across the way.
He's a cartoon character. Like watching him reverse grip snatch at the Masters games last year just further cemented it into my brain. And he was like, "Yeah, I practice that from time to time." You do what?
Yeah. The guy is a 12-year-old in a 35-year-old body.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So anyway, just wanted to share some fun stuff off the top. There's not a whole lot of stuff going around in the CrossFit space. So, but the reason we're here today primarily is that if you've been following along, let me recap this quickly. Our very own Cory Leonard tried to compete in the qualifier for the Masters Fitness Championships. During that weekend, he was doing a workout, got halfway through, decided to quit, never got a chance to go back and finish that workout or redo it because he did it in half a workout.
Yep.
He then submitted his workouts, was well inside the top 20 for the elite division of Masters Fitness Championships, then got an email that he used a garden pad under his head for a handstand push-up that was illegal and has been forever. But Mr. Leonard did not read his instructions completely, fought it, lost X number of, or added time to his thing, and fell back and ended up in 19th place.
Correct.
Still within the top 20.
That part's important.
Still within the top 20. And then invites went out a week ago today for the athletes. 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago today. And for almost 12 days, 12 days maybe ish. Mr. Leonard heard nothing about his elite invite, even though he was within the top 20.
Correct.
Cory Leonard receives an email with an invite. And what does the invite say?
Congratulations. Hold on, I can read it to you. You're invited. Hi, Cory Leonard. We're excited to invite you to our upcoming event, 2025 Masters Fitness Championship in the RX Men Individual 45-49 division. So
even though you finished in the top 20 and the rules and the advertisement said top 20 athletes go elite, next 20 athletes go RX, you finished 19th, you got an RX invite instead of an elite invite.
How about that? Because in the rules, which they have a rule book. I got it saved on my phone. They reserve the right to invite up to 5 people of their choice. And this year they decided to invite podium finishers from last year. So when I say podium finishers, I don't mean winners. I mean winners, second place people, and third place people. Which, hey, that's what y'all want to do. Cool. That is absolutely fine. But when I asked about it, because I did, I went completely passive aggressive and sent them a message saying, hey, I was under the impression that top 20 went elite, next 20 went RX. And they said, yes, but, which I don't feel like that's a yes, but question. Maybe that's just me. But like, if I'm answering that question, I'm going, yep. And I'm putting out what I'm putting out. I don't have a problem with them inviting whoever they want to invite. But if that's an invite only type deal, then the top 20 still needs to go. Now you have a top 23, or you have a 23 people going. In my opinion, I could be entirely, yeah, thanks. Look, Mike Halpin.
Yeah. Lido, my mouse is dead. That's shitty. That should be an addition too, because that's kind of messed up. Judy Dang. What?
Yeah.
So I think it is. Here's my issue with it all, right? Is I have been to every Masters Fitness collective or championship since its inception. And as it has been held, never, ever, ever, never, ever have they had a full field of 20 athletes.
When I went, we didn't have 20 in RX.
Never, ever. It is ridiculous not to overbook, because you know people are going to withdraw before the event. And let them train for the event they're going to.
There's an idea.
Andrew Stans, changing the rules mid-competition sounds like CrossFit HQ, even though it's MFC. I have had my beefs with MFC. I have said a lot of things on these airwaves about the way that they do things there. Thought they had buttoned it all up over the last couple years. But they're not and let's be honest, they're not the only ones who play this game.
No, not at all. Legends does the same thing. Legends has their, and they'll tell you, but I already know, Scott, I'm going to Monster Games. I qualified in 4th for their qualifier, July 25th, next month. If I win Monster Games, I get an automatic bid to Legends. But I know that now. I knew that last year when I went and was talking to people over there, because they were advertising it. Hey, if you win Monster Games, like the winner 2 Monster Games gets an automatic bid. Top 3 people at the CrossFit Games in my age group, I think it's top 3, get an automatic invite. So when the qualifiers start next week, I already know all of that. It's out there. It's in front. They say it often. It's not just once. So like, I know when I'm looking at the leaderboard, when it populates, as they're going through video review, okay, this is about where I need to be to make sure that I get my invite, like I did last year. And I'm cool. I'm fantastic with that. And like I've told you, like I've told anybody who will listen, I am aware that for this particular qualifier, I shot myself in the foot more than once. And yet still managed to, despite my best efforts, still managed to end up inside the top 20. And I just got an RX invite. They invited people who did not even do the qualifier. That blows my mind.
So I do want to go. Is there any way they could bump you up to elite once they realize you don't have a full field? That happens all the time. But is Cory going to make plans to go RX and pay for a hotel, pay for a flight, pay for all these things for the RX division, He would in the elite division. And Andrew Sten, where we met was the Masters Fitness Collective at the time. You have been there almost every year that I've been there. Have you ever seen a full division of elite athletes? Because I don't remember seeing a single one of that was a full elite athlete field. I'm curious what he says. Because they do have the ability to bump you up. It's the fact of you probably saying, oh, it's not worth me traveling all the way to Indiana to do an RX competition.
I'm not. I'm going to tell you right now. To answer Halpin's question, yeah, I got until the 3rd.
Is there a deadline for elites to accept?
Well, I don't know about elites. I think all of that's already done. That's why RX went out.
The problem is
I talked to a buddy of mine who's in RX.
And this doesn't even happen until what, October?
Yeah.
So by the time October rolls around, five of them don't want to go. And there's no way to now you last minute to get airfare, hotel, all that stuff to get you there.
So to answer Trained Olive there, but actually both questions.
Also, with these automatic invites, have they already accepted or are they assuming they will accept?
So from my conversations with them, those invites and then those backfill invites go out first. And then they go to RX. And I'm pretty well confirmed that yesterday because I sent the same thing I sent you to a buddy of mine who did the qualifier, finished like in 25th or something like that. He also got his invite for RX yesterday. So to my knowledge, it's done. Like the elite part of it is done, including people who at least one of them didn't even bother to do the qualifier. One of them did half of the qualifier and stopped. But because he's on the podium last year, he gets an invite.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at those people by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not mad at anybody. I just think the whole thing is ridiculous.
Kenneth, to answer your question about payouts, I don't think any of the Masters competitions have paid out other than the games and Wadapalooza.
Yeah, not to my knowledge. I don't do it for a payout. I'm not going to compete for a payout. I'm going to compete to get more competition experience against elite level competition so that I am more prepared and better for when I eventually make the games.
Trent Olive says, that's ridiculous. They should at least have to do the qualifier, in my opinion.
Or sign up for it.
Well, like, let's look at the elite division, right? NorCal Classic. Colton won last year. It is typical that the past year's winner gets an automatic invite, but that's no guarantee. So he did the qualifier just in case.
The qualifier for Legends starts on the 1st, so like next week. Competition's on the 25th. So I will already know, chance of better not, I don't know how fast the leaderboard is going to come out, but chance of better not, I'm going to know whether I qualify for Legends before I even go to Monster Games. But that doesn't mean that the invite hasn't gone out yet. Does that make sense? Like one thing's happening before the other one, and it's going to affect the other one, but I'm still doing it. Even if I knew I already had a game spot, I'm still doing it. Like I'm still doing a qualifier. If for no other reason than the fact that I want to earn my way there regardless of what else happened. If I don't have to pay for my registration fee because I happen to win Monster Games, 2 thumbs way up. But that's not going to stop me from doing a qualifier by any stretch of the imagination. So
yeah.
It is what it is.
Judy Reed seems unprofessional. I think that's been our argument with a lot of competitions over time, not just this one, but yeah, and I have picked on them a lot in the past, and I'm not trying to pick on them here. they're just an example of how things roll without communication, and it makes it very, very frustrating. Like you said, everybody knows that Legends invites back winners from last year and games winners.
I think it's up to, I think it's like 5 spots. So it's if you can win, and there's a competition in Mexico, you get a spot. There's Monster Games. You win Monster Games, you get a spot. And I think it's top 3 at the games, you get a spot.
Well, instead of, well, that's NCC, well, that's MFC.
Yeah. Just like NorCal. Oh, it's NorCal.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's frustrating for me is it's a really cool venue up there. One, it's super easy for me to get to. I actually love driving up there and supporting the Masters athletes. They're trying to become part of the season in some way. And this year they're testing out 2-person teams.
Yep.
To see if that is a viable option to be an option for teams for the games. You can't bullshit like this and then try to be a part of the game season. Well, you can, and people have. But if you're trying to put your best foot forward, this is not the way to do it.
No. And I'm willing to bet it's not just me. I just happen to have a platform to talk about to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's happened. I'm sure it's anybody that ended up where they thought they were, and now all of a sudden they're actually not. Like, it's because I only got to worry about me, obviously. And it sucks for everybody else that's in that spot. I dug my own hole. If I would have finished like I am capable of, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But I also wouldn't know any of this. Does that make sense? Like, I wouldn't know any of that. I would just be.
You'd still be using a garden pad under your head.
More than likely. Lito's got a huge point.
Invites only benefit the event. Qualifying athletes hate them, and the invited more often than not don't end up going. It benefits the event because there's a chance some big name is going to accept. And that, I don't want to say never happens. In my experience with Masters Fitness Championship, the big names go team. They view it as a go hang out with my friends, do a team event, have some fun, and do it up. The individual events are for the up and coming Masters athletes who are trying to see where they fit in this world and whether or not they can make a run at like a game spot or a legend spot. Because to be quite frankly, the tier goes games, legends, MFC. And Wadapalooza is a quirky little thing with only 6 or 5 events that doesn't really even fit in the mix anymore. And they only take like 5 athletes anyway.
It's a small number for sure. And for what it costs to get there and stay there in Miami and all of that whatnot, like, it's not something I'm interested in. I might do the qualifiers this year if I got time. Just because their qualifier workouts usually look pretty fun and be cool to just kind of see where I'm at on that leaderboard, but I'm not going.
All right, guys, we can stop passing the time. We can get into the real stuff now because Jody is here.
But all this does is light more of a fire under my ass, like I told you yesterday or this morning, whenever that was, to just put my head down and just be smarter, first of all, which my dumb cool ass is going to take a little bit for that, but be smarter, be more patient when I get shit like that. Make sure I read everything through and just throw myself into the things that I've already got on my plate, even that much more. I mean, it is, so the 25th was 2 days ago. So I got less than a month before I go to Kansas. I took kind of a deload week this week. So next week, we're going to start ramping back up, getting ready for that. And then it would have to be right now.
If Cory ended up getting an elite invite, how far out would it need to be for him to go?
It would need to be right now. I mean, bottom line, it would have to be right now. And honestly, if for whatever reason they were like, "Oh, we accidentally sent you an RX one instead," I'm still not going. I'm just not. Like the whole thing has, and I had a blast when I went 2 years ago. I had a fan. I
think you had like the best roommate possible.
I had a fantastic roommate show up. We did some podcasting. I met a badass group of dudes. I got to watch Rudy and them like go at it and absolutely smash stuff. Well, I got to watch Lynette. The Reeds were there cheering me on. That was awesome. Will Plummer losing his mind watching me do stuff. He almost threw up a couple times watching me on the sandbag.
You got an 8-minute vignette made of you.
I got an 8-minute. Like I couldn't have asked for a better time. And honestly, right up until it went sideways, like I was really kind of looking forward. Like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go back.
So you watched the Lydia Fish behind the scenes?
No, I have not. I have not had an opportunity to. I will. It's on my list.
Well, it starts with Perrin reading the instructions for like the 73rd time. And that's the only part you need to watch.
But yeah, I'm just going to check that out and just watch the first thing.
Just watch the first 5 minutes a couple times to hammer it home, because things changed from the initial release to when they were doing the workout, and she caught it. And thank goodness she caught it.
There's some great pictures of 100%, dude.
That sucks, but lessons learned, and on to the next one.
Yeah, I don't lose, Scott. And I've told you this 100 times. Like we win, we either win or we learn. There's no in between. As far as that goes, I can't lose because I won't quit. One, and we either learn or we win. And sometimes we win and we learn. No two things don't necessarily.
See, that's why I had to quit competing, because I either won or beat the hell out of myself.
I got great pictures from 2023. I have a hilarious video of me trying to do crossover single unders and skier. Just ended up being comical by the end of it. I was laughing. I really was, because I was like, this is so stupid. You know what I did this morning? Crossover single unders. Was part of my program. And guess what? I did 50 unbroken twice in the middle of the workout.
Because I have video of you not doing it 50
unbroken. Oh, God, yes. God, yes.
Lots and lots.
You know what's great about that? I watched that again not that long ago. And there's more video of, or at least I feel like there is. I have no idea what the time frame is, but there's more video of that particular event than there is of anything else.
Well, and I think when I made you the stuff, like I cut it. Like I cut out a lot of the blunders. Yeah, it was bad.
I got to meet Lana, who was awesome.
She was. On a positive note, Raylan was announced as the grip sponsor for the Masters Games again. Got my free grips in the post already today.
Nice. I love free stuff.
It's awesome.
Free stuff I actually want to use.
So, I wanted to talk about some other stuff while I have you here.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday we broke the news that water's wet, the sky's blue, and tia-clair Toomey is doing the games again.
Yep.
I did a poll, very official. Are you excited that tia-clair Toomey-orr is going after her 8th title at the CrossFit Games this year? I'll go ahead and share the results of that.
Exactly.
And so I got absolutely 70%. Can't take it another year at 6%. And it really doesn't matter to me, 25%. Now, don't do the math because that comes out to 101%. So I don't know what kind of math YouTube's using, but I'm guessing it's a rounding thing.
Yeah.
I was really surprised at this response.
What did you expect?
I thought that the can't take it another year would be much higher.
Would be higher than 6%.
Yeah.
I feel like it's I feel like it's an all or nothing type deal. Like people either don't give a shit, or they're like, "Yep, can't wait to go," or they just enjoy watching. They're Patriots fans. They just enjoy watching domination after domination after domination.
I did get 2 comments, and the first one is from Mr. Ryan State. She's eligible, proved her fitness at Torian, so the novelty this year will be how High Rocks has helped or hindered her competitive edge. And then Chris Love said, women's field was going to be exciting, be an exciting race, this race, because it was anyone's game. We didn't know who was going to be the fittest on earth. Now it is just going to be another boring year watching the Tia show.
I bet I know what he voted.
Yeah. So,
I'm somewhere between. Go ahead.
Train Olive. Honestly, I was over Tia a few years ago, but I voted absolutely to see if she can do it, especially with all the High Rocks training she's been doing. Okay. I'm glad you said that because I've been over Tia for a while.
Yeah.
The year that she was pregnant and didn't go to the games was the most fun I had watching the female division in the last 8 years because you didn't know who was going to win.
Right.
And you had Emma Lawson out in the lead for a long while. You had Laura trying to make the comeback after the handstand push-ups. You had a lot going on in that cross. Then that's the year that Ariel took third.
Yeah, I want to say there was like 4 different lead changes, 4 or 5 different lead changes. People wearing the lead jersey on the women's side. Like it was
because Raptus had it for a minute.
Yeah. It was not insignificant, is what I'm saying. Like it wasn't just like a 2-person race or anything like that. Like it went, it bounced around a bit.
But if someone beats her this year, you know how much more that's going to mean to that person.
Oh God, yes.
Than winning it with her not there.
Well, it's the old if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right?
Right.
So like the first year Justin wins. Cool. Somebody won who's not Matt, but Matt also wasn't there.
Well, and it's like Ben winning after Rich. Rich retired. Nobody ever beat Rich except for Graham Holmberg.
And that was once.
And that was the first one. And then he didn't lose again.
Yeah.
And so like, but the thing that's tainting it now is Alex Kazan had one of the best shots at going after her.
Yeah.
And she's not going to be 100%.
And that was, now a rock fell in her truck. Like, having said that, I'm also interested to see what Alex is actually going to do now or be able to do now with it. We're 35 days out? 32 days out? Something like that?
Yeah, it's not much.
It's not much at all. So I am extremely curious as to see what's actually going to happen as far as that is concerned.
Jody Lynn, I thought we were friends. The only thing keeping the women's comp alive is seeing what Kazan can do. I think there are a lot of great athletes in the female division. I think there's a great future. I think Emma Lawson, Alexis Raptis, Alex Kazan, and then you have these youngins coming up like the Lydia Fishes, like the Reese Littlewoods.
See her face. I can't think of her name. The women's field, Tia aside, is wide open and looks promising, like you said, for the next 5 to 10 years. Like there's going to be some absolute animals coming up through.
Yeah, but none going to beat Tia. You know, that's what. Here's what I've been saying for years. What happened in High Rocks at the High Rocks World Championships could very easily happen at the games again.
Yeah.
She could get sick. She could get injured. She could, like, things can happen that are outside of her control. To do it for 8 years is absurd without an injury at the games, without getting sick at the games. And maybe she has been, and maybe she's fought through it, but we don't know. And then
just to stay healthy enough to compete at the level she's at that's a miracle in and of itself. Like, no major injuries. She hasn't torn anything. She hasn't really pulled anything. She hasn't, you know what I mean? There's nothing that's kept her out. The only thing that's kept her out is pregnancy.
Yeah.
Having Willow kept her out of the games.
This is a great sitting back and actually thinking about it. Halpin makes a great point, because we have we don't know about no Alex. We may have half of Alex,
right?
But then no Gabby, no Rolf, no Laura, no Emma. There are still some great athletes, Raptis, Danielle, but Tia seems like she could go wire to wire and do meet and greets after every event. It is a decimated field this year because of
he's not like that.
Right. But I don't know. I got this gut thing about Ariel having a good year this year. But I think even Ariel would tell you she's not on Tia's level.
Yeah. I think most of them would tell you, like, they see her and they go.
And I think that's what we're going to miss this year, because Laura would tell you she's on Tia's level.
Laura would frantically proclaim she's on Tia's level or above.
It may not be in our opinion, but in her mind, she is. And you need some women that believe they are.
Yes, I was about to say that. If you don't believe you're that you're that good, or you're that worthy, or you're that whatever, then you've already lost before you ever step on the field. You need to know that when I get out there, I'm the baddest person on this this, whatever, on this field, on this. If you're not going into that, if you're going into the mindset of, well, I'm gonna just try to chase her the entire week, you're already lost points. Lucy Campbell is who I was trying to think of.
So Lito says Lucy Campbell, she literally beat Laura. Super excited to see what she can do. I adore Lucy Campbell. Adore her. But Wadapalooza was 6 events.
Yeah.
The games, you're talking 9 or 10. I think it's just a different type of a competition. But it was awesome seeing her go toe-to-toe with Laura on the final event at Wadapalooza and take the win. Not get the win, but actually grab it and
Lucy's sweet as well, and doesn't, like, she's unassuming, in my opinion. Like, kind of reminds me like a Ben Smith type. You would look at her and go, really? That girl? Yeah, that girl. She's fit, dude.
Andrew Sten, someone can catch lightning in a bottle. No one thought the 1990 Reds had a chance against the A's, but they swept them. Only because they got through the Pirates before they got there and shouldn't have. Jody, Ariel's going to the games? Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
Ken Walters, both sides, a whole new generation of exciting athletes. Ken also wants Tia to get 10, while now getting a couple of High Rocks titles as well. It's generational athlete, and I want to see it go. Okay. But that ruins Carolyn's marketing plan. The 8 on its side for Toomey.
Oh, yeah.
And then it forms the infinity, and then she's forever the GOAT.
She's already forever the GOAT, dude. Like, she took a year off, had a baby, came back, not just qualified, won. Circumstances aside, like, still won. You can't argue with that. Like, I don't. That's, you take Rich, take Matt, there is nobody else.
Nope. Nope. All right. So that's enough for the Tia talk. Yeah, there's people in here saying keep going. Some say stop at 8. Jody looking for a room right now in Albany. I got screwed out of my Airbnb in Albany, and I'm really ticked.
I thought that was wrapped up.
I made the reservation on my debit card that got stolen.
Oh.
So they tried to charge it and couldn't, so I lost the room. So now I'm in scramble mode.
That's terrible.
Just found that out a few hours ago. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see. Last thing is, I told you at the beginning of the show, I was watching Dex on In the Box Office with Cait and Maisley.
I can't pronounce her name. I don't know, but I believe you.
And I knew that Cait looked familiar, and I couldn't figure out why. And the one year that, before I go on, I saw this. Jay Birch, need to make my reservation to Columbus. Just remember, there's a whole list of hotels on the website for Legends for the Masters CrossFit Games, and they're trying to get a collaboration with the city of Columbus. And the only way they can get numbers to say how many people are coming to Columbus for this event is to book rooms in those hotels. They have like 15 options available on that website. So they're begging people to make their reservations at one of those 15 so they can go back to the city in Columbus and say, we brought this many people to town. That's
a solid idea.
Because they're trying to work with the chamber and all of that to get more benefits for the athletes for the crowd there.
Yeah. And for the future, right? For, hey, we want to do this again next year, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, that's awesome. Is Birch judging? Birch, you judging at the games?
The games, and helping saying the games in Albany also has a hotel site if you're still looking. So, I knew Cait because the one year I worked the games with Morning Chalk Up, she was brought on as a runner to run cards, stuff back and forth, and to download them, and then to bring them back to people shooting and videoing and all of that kind of stuff. But it brought back the most traumatic experience of my life and why I never worked another day for the Morning Chalk Up after those games.
Fair.
I did interviews that year with Colton Mertens before he was the Iron Hog, talking about, I got him right after he got cut. And I said, it was sitting as us two on a box with the Morning Chalk Up logos behind us, and talking to him about what was his plan, how did he feel, all this kind of stuff. And he was talking about how he had worked so hard to make the games that he never worked on the stuff that would help him at the games. And so he was going to have to flip his training. And we had a great conversation about all of that. They lost it. I talked to a volunteer who was an alcoholic who had overcome alcoholism through CrossFit and became a volunteer because it saved her life. And now she goes to event after event after event. And she's been sober for like 5 years. They lost it. I interviewed Christy Aramo's PT on why she comes to the games and how she works with athletes during the games to keep them going and moving and all of this stuff. Lost it.
Awesome.
Then I interviewed Ellie Turner, who was stuck here because it was 2021. COVID was just going on, and the Olympics were happening at the same time. And because Australia was only allowing so many people back in the country at a time, she was stranded. And we talked about all that and how Michelle Latondra was giving her a place to stay until she could get back to Australia. But she was basically, this is all like pre-Justin, all of that, and how she was stuck here. They didn't lose that one. For some reason, they didn't lose that interview. And I asked them, because I said, anything you don't put up yourself, I would love to put up on my own channel.
Yeah.
And that's when they lost them.
Oh no, I don't have them. No, sorry.
I also almost got kicked out of the CrossFit Games before they even really started because I didn't know what I was doing. I chased Scott Panchek back through the tunnel off of the outdoor course.
Yeah.
Orange Park, North Park. I chased him through the tunnel back towards where the ice tubs and all that kind of stuff are, asking him because it was supposed to be his final games, and get like his feeling of being out on the floor in his final games and blah, blah, blah. And had a great interview. And they actually did air that one. But as I'm done, I got hit on the back by security and going, "You're not allowed back here, dude. If you're back here again, I'm going to have to throw you out."
Okay, can I finish doing what I'm doing first? And then I'll move myself. You don't even have to worry about throwing me out.
During the Masters portion of that games, we were allowed all over the place back there. We were interviewing people in the tubs. We were interviewing people everywhere. Then the minute the elites hit the floor, not allowed back there anymore. You can't change the rules midweek and expect me to know.
No. Nobody gives a damn about us, Scott. And that's all you need to know right there. It's like, oh, the old people are back there. Yeah, no. Go on.
Go ahead.
It's fine.
Yeah, who was it? I think it was Cait. Got an interview with Adrian Conway, and he was in the ice tub. It was awesome. Yeah, just chilling back.
Adrian's a great dude. Okay.
Yeah, awesome stuff. But that's how I know Cait. She was a runner for the Morning Chalk Up that year. The last few days I worked for the Morning Chalk Up.
Well, at least you remember her now.
Yeah. Ken, that's assuming there was a briefing. Media, you get a tour, and that's it. And when you get the tour at the beginning of the week, you're allowed to all these different places. Then all of a sudden they switch the signs up on you. And I'm not one to read every sign every time. I'm kind of like Corey Leonard. Like when I go to do my workout, I just assume
I'm going to get my stuff done. No.
Just thought of this, says Trained Olive. Do you think Tia intentionally created her own adversity just to show how dominant she is? No.
No, not even a little bit.
So, yeah. Fun to reminisce about the lost files of Morning Chalk Up.
Somebody still has them. You realize that, right? Like they're on somebody's laptop somewhere. They're on a hard drive somewhere, like just sitting there, unaired, unpublished, whatever you want to call it.
The one I'm most mad about, actually the volunteer one was a great one. But the Colton one was like back then Colton didn't talk.
No.
And it was just a great, great interview just about the difference between qualifying for the games and then being good at the games. And
I know what he's talking about because there's stuff you need to do to be able to qualify for. Like you just need to have good aerobic conditioning, good basic gymnastic skills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like once you get to the games or another high level competition in general, like now you have to have way different skills you might have to pull out. You don't even know.
Long distance running, swimming.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, I gotta swim. Yeah, and not just from here to the other side of the wall either. Like it's a lot of swimming. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I might have to ride an actual bike, not a stationary bike. Yeah, because they're two different things. Oh, okay. Skills like, we're gonna send you on this obstacle course run. Deuces. Good luck. Enjoy yourselves.
Lito said next she'll be giving competitors a minute's head start just to make it more interesting. I think she only does that for Shane.
That was hilarious. Hilarious. I gotta give her that.
What I thought was hilarious is she went ahead and submitted that as her open score before she realized, ooh, that didn't even get me in the top 1%. Ken Walter says that Colton one would be awesome now after what level he is now at. Millions of views missed. I'm telling you, man, it was one of, you know, I walk out of interviews sometimes and I'm like, man, I really botched that one, or man, I hit that one out of the park. I walked away from that one going, dang, I hit the grand slam.
Absolutely.
And it never hit the air. So what good did it do? It's like hitting a batting practice 500 footer.
Yeah. And look at it going, man, that was nice. And then striking out whenever you whenever the game actually
nobody's
started.
in the stands to see it. Nobody's
there. Nobody.
Lito, yeah, Ken, same as Tia at her first games versus Tia now. I would say that the clip of Tia at her second games when she beat herself up to where she is now was like what this Colton interview was that I had and that never aired to where he is today. Oh boy, what's up, man?
I don't know if I'm on the right or the left. I can tell. I know the Super Mario theme. I will hum that to myself while I'm doing stuff around the house from time to time.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our show.
Yep. Good stuff on a Friday, bro.
Yeah. It's the weekend. Everybody enjoy your weekend. I've got to get back to work. We got shit hanging all over the place at work today. You knuckleheads need to get back to work as well. We'll see everybody next time on Lunch with Clydesdale. Bye, guys.